Hi there, I hope all is well. Welcome to Pearl, a world where modern day princesses strive for class, sass, and strass. I'm your host, Victoria, and today's episode is how you can save $25,000 by 18 years old. This was actually a lifelong goal of mine that I had set for myself since I was kind of a kid / a child, and I realized I was really on track to hitting that, I think around middle school or high school. And then I thought, interesting. The way that I did that, I kind of want to impose those tips and tricks, habits, and overall things that I did to achieve that goal. Because it just really helps, I think, as a young woman, especially, to have a bit of a cushion and piggy bank behind you to lean back on. It's just really good for your brain, honestly, I think. So I just wanted to make this episode to hopefully inspire the next generation of young women, specifically teens, on their personal finance journey, and to tell them and kind of encourage them that they can do it too. So let's get right into it. So number one, as soon as you can and as early as possible, start saving every penny. It might need and require a bit of extreme saving, honestly, to hit 25,000 by 18. But I do believe that any amount of money that you were given as a child, like I'm talking elementary school, save it. Put it in a little box, put it in a little piggy bank, and forget about it and don't even touch it. Or maybe a little compromise would be if, let's say, you do get some money, I don't know, let's say for your birthday, right? Like maybe grandma gave you $200. Okay, spend maybe $50 of that to play with, keep the other $150. But again, like the more you save, the closer you'll be to hitting this goal at a sooner rate. So try and be as strategic on also seeing how you can make as much money as possible at a young age. So I'm kind of like focusing mainly on elementary school / middle school. So I know most kids at that age aren't even thinking about that, but it's just a good idea to say like, oh yeah, like my birthdays, maybe Christmas, maybe Hanukkah, other holidays, maybe, grandma does this type of tradition, and or maybe, your uncles are very generous, and every time you see your uncles, they slide you a 50 under the table or something. So I don't know, just maybe be a little bit more cognizant and ask yourself, like, are there more opportunities for you to get money or make money? And then number two, see how you can make as much money as possible by working. Now, the younger you are, the less, I think, consistent it'll be, if you will. Like it'll be less likely that you have like a legitimate part-time job, like working at a retail store or working in the food industry or something like that. But as young as possible, like middle school if you can, or even elementary school, see if you can inspire that entrepreneurial spirit in yourself. Is there anything you can maybe sell? Let's say you have a huge collection of something and you're kind of maybe outgrowing it. Maybe you can consider selling some stuff. Like I remember my brother. Oh my gosh, my brother growing up was obsessed with cars. It was insane. And he had this huge box full of little like miniature cars, like Hot Wheels cars kind of thing. And it was just insane how many cars he had. And I'm sure, if we thought of that at the time, he could have sold a lot of them to kids at school and made bank for those cars. Even just $5 a car, like that'll add up. I think he probably had like 200 cars. So that entrepreneurial spirit of just kind of asking yourself, like, how can I make money and earn money, I think is a really great exercise, especially around the 10 to 13-year-old range. Usually that's when we start to see the entrepreneurial spirit come out of those types of students. Like around that age is when you'll see who is more hustling or more of a hustler than others. So maybe if you are just a 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old listening to this, see if there's anything you can do. Again, you can sell things, maybe you can offer some services. I remember around that age, I was walking a dog, my neighbor's dog, every day after school because she couldn't, and it was only $5 per walk. But like, since it was every day, just for like 10, 15 minutes, like every week I was making my $25, which was pretty good for like, I think I was even younger. I might've been 10. 9 or something. So yeah, like making $100 extra a month is just so great. I mean, think about it. Then in 12 months, if you keep that consistently, you have $1,200. So yeah, you already are, 1/25th almost the way there. So see if you can offer any services, like again, dog walking. Maybe you can start learning how to be a mother's helper, and this can catapult your like mini career of babysitting or nannying. See if you have anybody in your neighborhood who might just need an extra pair of hands. See if, let's say, your neighbor is a chef or something and just needs somebody to help bring this here when they need, or bring the flour and the eggs, or go to the grocery store, because I was also like walking distance to a grocery store. I would have happily like gone and run errands for people and just go on a walk after school and grab some errands. Like, I'm telling you, that entrepreneurial spirit kind of needs to come up around 10 to 13. See what you can do. Everybody has gifts and talents, so just see what works best for you. Like, for example, me, I could have possibly started my tutoring, being a mini tutor at that point, and maybe just like charge, $5 for a few, like a 20-minute session or something like that. Excuse me. But yeah, just see what you could possibly provide in terms of services and skills to other people. Because again, everybody's blessed in some way. If you want an episode, I can definitely make an episode on all the different types, like just kind of throwing out all these ideas on things that you can do depending on what type of personality and skills and background you might have. So hopefully that'll help. And then see if the older you get, you can maybe get a more like legitimate part-time job working like at a store or for a company, because then you'll get like, you can book in more hours or less hours. You'll get like a consistent scheduling and you'll know exactly how much you'll make. And I'm just going to say though, actually, before we get to that part-time job idea, going back to the more middle school age like idea of just starting to see how you can offer some sort of services and stuff between like 10 and 13 or whatever. If you start a skill very young and you get very good at it, don't forget that the older you get and the more that you do that, you need to raise your rates. This is something that's like non-negotiable, especially as a young woman. Unfortunately, young women, or especially women in general, just are not good. And I don't say this with any judgment, but like they're just not very good at advocating for themselves and raising their rates and really fighting for the value that they put in the market. So if you're a young woman, I would love to do an episode just kind of pep talking you and giving you motivation to believe in yourself to raise your rates. Like, for example, for tutoring, I think my rate was $20 or $25 an hour. I was 17, I think, or 18 when I was a legitimate private tutor, but I started when I was 16 as a volunteer tutor. So, and then I was getting so good that every year after that, I was raising my rate by $5 an hour. And then once I got to UC Berkeley, I jumped hella because I was just like, I had my credentials. One, I was going to UC Berkeley, which is the #1 public university. And then also I was going for mathematics. So like I knew my stuff. So I'm just saying, definitely, again, build the skills, build your experience so that you can raise your rates. And then if you want, maybe you can take a little bit of that money, invest in yourself to get certified in something. Like, let's say babysitting. Let's say you start out as a mother's helper, right? Like, this is the idea that could be used on you. You want to start out as a mother's helper at 13 years old, right? Let's say you you have $200, you make $400. Okay, so you saved with all these families after all this time, you have $400. Great. And again, you're charging like $10 to $15 an hour. I don't know. Let's do $10 an hour. Okay, so you worked all these hours, great. Maybe a bit of that $400, you can spend $100 on going to be CPR certified and first aid certified, because then that'll definitely increase your rate because now you're more trustworthy. Parents know that they can trust you in an emergency and just more legitimate and qualified. So then once you maybe get that certification, you invest in yourself. Now you can charge $15 an hour or $20 an hour, $25 an hour. And throughout the years, your rate is going to slowly increase. I was also doing that with babysitting. I think I started $10 an hour. And now if I ever need to spot a girlfriend who's babysitting and she can't do it, like now I charge $30, $35 an hour. So, but this is rates in California. So I don't know, maybe, be consistent with the markets of your state and your city, your local little town. But yeah, so I hope that helps. Like, try and build so that by the time you're 18, your rates are already much higher. So you can work less and still make the same, if not more. So then if you really want to work a lot more, then you're just going to be pumping money in. So that's my advice again for middle schoolers. And then back to the high schoolers, once you're 16, 17, depending on the laws, I don't really remember, see if you can get that legitimate, job working for a company, I don't know, again, retail, food, even the grocery store. It's great experience. You can put that on your resume starting out. And then if you want to still do the other part-time stuff, like the babysitting type jobs, I don't even know would that be called freelancing? I think so. Whatever, we'll just call it babysitting jobs, because I always like associate freelancing with like guys doing like construction or like helping with gardens and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm completely being weird right now, but anyway, so let's like scratch freelancing. So if you get your job, let's say, I don't know, Panda Express or something. Okay, so you get your consistent schedule. You can put this on your resume. You can also put this on your college applications. You can be very strategic with it, but then also on the side, be making your big bucks, because maybe at Panda Express, it's only $15 an hour, but it's more rhythmic. It's more, like you can depend on it more. You know, the work is always going to be there. You know, you're going to have a minimum hours, like a minimum number of hours to work. But then if you can also balance on top of that, other work, again, like babysitting, or if you're a boy too, like I'd be happy. I don't know if there are any guys listening to this, but you could do, you know, little construction things, or again, being a helper to some sort of guy, or, you know, if there's a big CEO dude and you want to help him. Of course, girls can do this too, but, you know, I'm just thinking what guys tend to do. You could be a lifeguard. There's so many different things that teenagers are doing now. Just definitely see if you can stick to something that gives you consistent work, so at least you know the minimum amount of money that you'll be making from that. And then if you can do those like independent side gigs on top of that, that would be great, I think. And honestly, ideal. Also, sorry if my voice is sounding weird. I'm getting like the hiccup kind of things. It's all coming up. Sorry, but I hope you get what I'm saying. So yeah, and so now you'll have this like dual schedule of going to, let's say, your Panda Express job, doing that, getting your minimum amount of money that you know you'll get every week. And then let's say on the weekends or aside or in the early mornings or something, you can go do it. Actually, a kid that I tutored, super ambitious guy. I loved this kid. He was so cool, so funny, always made me laugh. So I saw myself so much in him in terms of like the level of ambition and aggression in his future. It's so inspiring to see. He was like 15 when I started tutoring him. Now he's, I think, probably 16. Anyway, I came to find out he used to wake up, this teen, going to high school, full-time schedule and athlete and everything. He used to wake up at 6 a.m. or it was like 5:30 or something. And he'd walk, because he didn't have a license yet. He wasn't old enough. He'd walk to the local pool and he would be the pool guy to like remove the pool covers. And, you know, he'd like wheel that thing and pull it up or whatever. So he was in charge of that, and he made $20 an hour just doing that. And it probably only took him like 5-10 minutes, but nobody wanted to do it, especially at that hour. And so then the guy every day, 5 days a week, was making, you know, $20 an hour. So he was making $100 right there. It was absolutely great. And I was so impressed with him. So good for him. Yeah, $100. Yeah, $100 for the week. So, and then he kept that up. So I'm just saying there's so many different things, and he's also very entrepreneurial. So you just need to think, again, like look for opportunities. Look on Nextdoor, which is an amazing app. This is literally the app, I swear, for young people to be on there. I'm talking more like under 18, to find opportunities, jobs, even ideas. Like let's say you're on Nextdoor and you see there's this big demand for a certain type of dog walking, like trail walking, and you love walking on the trails, then like perfect. And you can charge, I don't know, $15 an hour per dog, do 4 dogs at a time, boom, you get your $60 an hour. Like I'm telling you, like you can be smart with this. And unfortunately, most people aren't very savvy about this, but do not limit yourself. Don't think that there's a cap. Don't think that you can't make big money. You can make really big money. I remember I once was like tutoring 2 kids at a time. And like my rate by that point already was very high for 1 kid. So then I do a little bit of a discount for it to be 2 kids. Like rather than literally double my rate, I would like do double and then minus, you know, whatever. But like still in that 1 hour, I made almost double basically my rate. And that was all because I was like spinning things together and trying to make things work and make money. So don't think that there's a cap. Don't let people limit you or make you feel like there's a limit. You genuinely can make as much money as you want at a young age. And especially at this time, like what an amazing time, honestly, to make as much money. I wish our culture was conducive with pushing young people, honestly, to work. Like not just like to kill themselves over it, but like it's good for young people to make money, understand the concept of money, understand the value of money, be responsible for it, understand what it means to save, to spend, the value of money, knowing that like, oh, let's say this video game I want to buy is actually 3 hours worth of work or something like that. It's really good mentally. And I think it's like the perfect catapult into, understanding the adult world and handling your finances as an adult. But so I just recommend definitely. So where I was going with that is I really wish we could push more young people to focus on working, because this is the time, like, you don't have all that many responsibilities, you don't have a lot of bills, so all the money coming in, save that stuff. I know it's tempting to go eat food with your friends and to go out and spend this and buy that. You're going to look back, you're going to regret it. I don't know many people who spent the money in their youth and look back and didn't regret it. And imagine, once you're 18 years old, you have $25K saved, you can immediately put that in the market. Open up all your investment accounts and start pumping money in there. And if you keep working during college and being smart and strategic in college, you can keep making money in there. If you put $25K in the stock market, let's say into a retirement account at 18 years old, and you don't even put any other amount in, and you get a return of 10%, you will be a millionaire. If you get a return of 10% every year, you will be a guaranteed millionaire. I literally did the math the other day. I couldn't believe it, actually. I was like, wait, I want to do this math for myself kind of thing. And I couldn't believe that 25K starting out, you will be a millionaire by the time you retire. So of course you're going to have to wait, but whatever. I mean, you're going to be a millionaire guaranteed. So definitely pick up as many jobs, work as hard as you can, be as strategic as possible. Of course, putting school first, but yeah. And then ask your parents, this one's kind of random and not really a guarantee, but ask your parents if there are any opportunities that they know of. Like, do they know of any of their friends? Like, tell your parents, like, I want to be a little bit more serious on making money. You know that I have these skills and that I offer this and that I'm good at that. Maybe they'll all of a sudden think like, oh yeah, my buddy John, who runs this financial firm, is looking for somebody to just like move papers around or, file or whatever. And then you got a little side gig there. So I don't know, just be creative, ask your network, look for opportunities. These are big, these are big, simple concepts to really practice and be good at that most people unfortunately don't. And hopefully the right college will actually really instill that in you. I don't know, at least for me, college was the best experience for me, not just because I had like the college experience. I actually did not have the regular 4-year experience at all. I had no going out there. It was grind central. But I learned so much, and the valuable skills I learned just from like managing college was insane. Like time scheduling, time management, being on time, figuring out my schedule with work, figuring out what my tolerance is against like the school load and then my workload, but also, oh my God, sorry. Something like went down my leg. I think it was like a little bug. But, and so also going out there and getting what you want, because nothing's going to come to you. That was mainly the big thing. Was UC Berkeley specifically taught me like amazingly that like if you need help, if you want something, you have to go out there and get it. Nobody's going to come and save you and give it to you. So if I wanted to take this class, or if I wanted to change my major, or if I wanted to do this, I had to go to the resources. If I was curious in starting a business, I had to go to the entrepreneurial hub on campus, and get the advice there. If I wanted advice, I'd go there. If I needed help with this, I'd go here. If I didn't know the answer to this, I'd go here. For financial aid and services, I'd go here. So like, you really need to advocate for yourself and be your biggest advocate and supporter and motivator, because again, nobody's going to give you these things. So, and don't be afraid of like your parent, like for example, that example with the parents of like, oh, my parents are going to like be judgy. No, people love young people pulling themselves up by the bootstrap and going out there and being aggressive. So ask all the questions, ask all the people for all the opportunities, see what you can get out there. And in no time, I'm sure you'll be able to save $25,000 by 18 years old, especially today, honestly. Like rates, like payment, like minimum wage, especially in California, are pretty good. Even working at In-N-Out, I see it's like $20 an hour. I'm like, holy moly. So definitely like pick yourself up by the bootstraps and go after it and do it. And again, as a young woman specifically, having money as a cushion just alleviates a lot, and it changes a lot of the direction of your life, honestly. I never hear people talk about this, but my girlfriends and I talk about this all the time, how like once we made money, once we started making money, once we started having a little bit of like financial security, it really changes the way you see the world, and your perspective changes a lot, and the way you even view dating and men changes. What you're looking for changes. The type of people that you're naturally now attracting changes. So having money is a good thing, I think. Loving it above God obviously is not, but having it is not bad. You can do a lot of good with money, and I think even just the process of acquiring money is so great for the brain, and for your growth and development. So I know I said a lot more than just like practical advice on how to save $25,000 by 18 years old, but hopefully it helped. I just want young people to achieve their dreams and go after it and just try something with their lives and be successful. Honestly, this channel is just to support everybody to be the most successful version that they can be, whether that is financially, romantically, personally, mentally, like mental health wise, whatever. I just want people to be successful. But anywho, thank you so much for listening. It literally always means the world. I love making these episodes. You have no idea how much I love just like helping other people and making this content. Like I just really want to share anything that I could possibly help people with. It's really amazing, and I'm so appreciative of those who do listen all the way to the end. So if you did, thank you so much. Love you, girly. But anywho, I hope you have a blessed day. I'm praying for you. God bless. Bye.